Hi guys, it's Tom from Comic Book Creature once more with a video for you. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody will have a great New Year's coming up. I don't really have any Christmas comics to show you, but I did come across some pretty cool independent titles, mostly independent titles, from auctions and dollar boxes, and I put something together because I wanted to put a video out because I think there's a lot of interest in this, and I'd like to draw some attention to some of these independent books. And there's some reprints in here too, but it's a lot of fun, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So hopefully you maybe or maybe have not seen some of these. So here's the first book. This is by Oni Press, and I believe you say that Brick, even though it's missing the C. It's Brick #1. It's Adam Glass. He's the writer, and he is associated with the Suicide Squad. And Mike Benson's also a writer, and he is one of the writers on the television show Supernatural. This basically is about a bullied kid, and there's Russian gangsters in it, and a grandfather who knows how to create a golem. So I'm interested to see where this goes. It's the first issue of the series. This has been out for quite a while, so I'm probably going to try to find the rest of it. It was really beautiful. Beautiful art and a nice story. Okay. This is from Pacific Comics. This is Bernie Wrightson reprints. Now this first issue here, it reprints Creepy Magazine, story of that, but the second one's really the one that I want to talk most about. The second issue reprints Eerie, and it has an adaptation, a comic book adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's Cool Air. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan, and so it's always cool to see what comic books do when they're trying to put a spin on Lovecraft. There's only 5 issues in this series of reprints, and I have 3 of them, so hopefully I can find the other ones. Here's issue 3. It's a reprint of Creepy also. A fantastic retro cover. I just love the stuff, the way it looks. It's great stories. Very interesting stuff from an era that is long gone now. Okay. This next one is by Jademan Comics. This is The Gates of Night #1, back from 1990. There's only 4 issues in this series. It's one of these independent titles that sprung up and apparently didn't last very long. And I just stumbled across this at an auction. It's not too bad. It's kind of printed strangely on the inside. The art is a lot smaller. It's interesting though, so I'm going to see if I can find the rest of those. And the next books that I'm going to show you is kind of a shout out to my buddy Charlton 66. I've watched his videos. You guys know he's a Charlton expert. He probably has these, but nevertheless, I think he'll probably appreciate them. This is The Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves, #25. It's a Pat Boyette cover, all the way back in 1967 from Charlton. I love these old books. They're really nice to find and kind of sometimes hard to find in any kind of shape. This one's okay. Not bad for a dollar box though. This is another Charlton title, Ghost Manor #16. Now, the thing about this one's 1968, but inside there's some Steve Ditko art. A lot of the guys back in the day did a whole lot of work for Charlton, and it's where some of them got their start. This is a gorgeous cover, Ghostly Tales from 1966. This is a Steve Ditko cover. It's from Charlton. And everybody knows that I kind of like werewolf stuff, so I was really happy to get that with the werewolf pouncing on the cover. It's just great color, great composition, just a really, really nice book. And pretty cool stories inside. This is Ghostly Tales, #114. It's a great painted cover. It's a Pat Boyette, I think it's Boyette cover, all the way back to 1966 from Charlton. And some of you probably remember the old Atlas comics. I'm not sure if you'd consider this horror or science fiction. It's Planet of Vampires #2. The good thing about it, it is a Neil Adams cover, and it's also, Dick Giordano, I think that's how you say it. Dick Giordano also did some work on the cover as well with Neil Adams. It's a pretty cool cover. Interesting concept for a story. This book had me kind of scratching my head for a while. This is Ghost Stories from Dell. Ghost Stories number 8. They don't really put numbers on the cover. It's a nice painted cover. I think, if you guys know, you can let me know. I think that this is a reprint because inside this is a 1971. And you'll notice this white label over here. And if you look at some of the original Dell stuff printed in the 1960s, the Dell symbol was red rather than white. So I think this is a reprint. If you know for sure, you can let me know. And here's a gold key book, Ripley's Believe It or Not, True Demons and Monsters Stories. It's number 25, all the way back from 1965. And I'm going to show you a page out of this book. It's one of the reasons I like it. It's a page called The Wolfman of Bald Mountain. Okay, inside this book, what you have is you have a full-page story of the Wolfman of Bald Mountain. And I wanted to open this up to show you because a lot of people say that comics aren't really literature. And I teach English, and I completely disagree with that. I use comics to teach kids all the time. After kids will read a lot of these, this might cause enough interest for them to go ahead and read this full-page story. And also, the comics that are in here, as kids read these, they are able to get a lot of comprehension because of the pictures. It sort of gives you almost a storyboard. And so I wish comics still did this. They don't do a whole lot of this anymore, but this was a really, really good thing that they did back in the day, and I really wish that they still did this. But I wanted to show that to you because after you've got a lot of comics, you've got a one-page story and then more comics, it's just kind of enticing. It makes you want to read those things. So I wanted to give you a look inside. The last book I want to show you is a book that I picked up at an auction. It was randomly tossed in there. Now on the cover it does say explicit content. Well, I read it, and the only explicit content in it are maybe a couple minor curse words, and there's some gore and violence. That's it, though. This is the zombie Simon Garth, and I know this is a very old character that's been in magazines, but this is a limited series. Kyle Hotz, H-O-T-Z, I'm not sure if that's how you say his name. Some of these names are difficult to figure out. He did the cover. He did the art inside. He's the writer. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. I couldn't stand it. I had to read it even though I only had the second issue. I have to find the rest of these. Bloody Disgusting, those of you that know what that is, they gave this story a 9.0 out of 10. A lot of your other reviewers out there, I checked, they give it between a 6 and a 7 out of 10. And I'm going to give it just the one issue that I've read about a 9 out of 10 also. It is fantastic. I love the way it's put together. The art is absolutely gorgeous. The story's got a lot of heart. I'm going to show you a couple or 3 pages inside of this book in just a few minutes to show you what I'm talking about. But I simply have to find the rest of these. It's fantastic. And, well, I'm just going to show you inside and show you why I like it so much. I wanted to show you a few pages inside of this book because it is some very powerful storytelling. Howlermouse sometimes says a comic book ought to be able to tell a story without any words, and I completely agree, and this definitely could do it. However, there are a few words here that make this story a tremendous, tremendous punch. It has a whole lot to it. Over here you see some bad stuff's been going on, but basically what I wanted to focus on is there's a mom in the forest, and she's lost her little girl. And she's so desperate that she kneels down in the forest and she begins to pray. And she says she doesn't even know if she's sure she believes anymore, but please help her to find her little girl. Well, then there is an absolute scream coming from the distance, and she takes off after it. Well, of course, she's not going to get there on time, but I want to show you the pages of what happens. And I have to turn this because there's an ad, so I'll put it right back up. Okay. Trying to fight the glare a little bit here, but here's the little girl, and she's surrounded by a starving pack of wolves. Wolves are being portrayed really bad here, but that's pretty typical for literature. So she's screaming, and the wolves are climbing up to get her. Fantastic art. Just a tremendously atmospheric. And then you have your zombie showing up, grabbing the wolf and killing him. And then you have this magnificent page of her stunned that she's being defended by this creature as these wolves are closing in. I want to show you a couple more pages. They seem to put an ad every 2 pages. There's a fight that goes on. This is part of that fantastic storytelling with very few words, basically just noises. Lots of attacking going on. The art just blows me away. I just love it. The background, everything about it is just magnificent. And then she's looking at him and she just says, wow. She doesn't even show fear for this zombie. She just says that it's yucky. And the last frame I want to show you, I don't want to show you the whole story, but the last frame I want to show you is this. He turns to look at her. I love shots like this. Here she is. He looks at her. She says a few words to him. He's still looking. And she asks him questions about what happened to him and how did this happen. And she tells him, it's okay. It's not really that gross. And at least you don't have like long fingernails. And she reaches out and takes his hand. You see his face again, and his hand closes around hers. And this last little frame down here that's extremely powerful, there's more to the story than this, but they're walking off into the gloom of the forest together, and she says, my name is Elizabeth. This child in her innocence being defended by this monstrous creature has held out her hand in kindness to this beast. It's just fantastic. You don't expect it. It's just tremendous storytelling. I love it. I really do. I cannot say enough good about this. I have to find the rest of the series. I didn't realize this was even out there until I accidentally bought it at an auction in a pile of books. What a pleasant surprise. Well, that's it for today, guys. I'm going to be trying to shoot some more videos as I'm on break for a few days. I'm going to really try to return to the Ultimate Haul videos. I need to shoot those. I've promised those for you. And they are coming. I just haven't gotten to them and been inspired to do a few different sets of videos. And so, seriously, check this out if you haven't. I'm super impressed with it. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like. Be kind to each other. See you next time.